Welcome to Mobile 10, a specially designed video series to help foster discussion among field workers. In this lesson, we will help your team consider how social media could play a part in your desire to find people of peace. Up until now, if the unreached were going to learn about Jesus through cross-cultural workers like us, they had to live and work nearby, or they needed to have a chance encounter with them in person. And language skills of those foreigners obviously had to be advanced enough to make an impact. Today, many teams can't help but notice the unprecedented screen time millions of Muslims get through social media. Some have begun drawing the attention of thousands toward the good news of Jesus using Facebook or Instagram strategies. A finely tuned process for identifying men and women of peace using social media now exists, and anyone willing to learn can be trained in how to do this. A longtime field workers in Afghanistan has been testing some limits of Facebook over the last few years. Here he shares some insights and encouragement.
Though I knew nothing about Facebook 9 months ago, now 9 months later I have more engagements than I can handle, really. I see Facebook and potentially other social media as a door opener to get into relationships, so I decided to use Facebook as a more or less an experiment to see if I can get into more hearts in many different places I couldn't walk to, and especially now that I'm settled back in the West. Anybody can do this. Some people could do more deeper, but it's building friendship through distance or up close and following through with that the best we can. On Facebook, they post Quranic verses, they post friendship kind of things, like here's a photograph of us standing together. They post things like sports events, but also they talk about corruption and problems in society, the war, the things in the funnel that you are looking for that are disrupting society. And I like to post things that are very provocative, deep, scriptural, and yet sometimes not focusing just on the visuals but more on the content to make sure we don't have ambiguity. You know, what are they liking? Is it the photograph or the content? I want to make sure I understand they're liking the content as much as the photographs or visuals. $5,000 said I like this, and maybe 30 said basically I want to kill you, or I want to make sure that no one looks at your page.
Okay.
And maybe 20 or 25 said I love this. When someone says I like your post or I love your post, I want to respond to that somehow, and I prefer doing it individually, but with 5,000 likes it's almost impossible.
Right.
Thank you.
Whether a person's been engaging people for 4 years, 4 months, we all have an opportunity to engage deeply with local people, especially as we look them in the eye and do things for the local person that no one else is doing. That is showing genuine interest and love. With love and respect, inviting all Muslims to follow Jesus, but with love and respect, showing them you're a listener and you want to engage. Anybody can do this.
As a team, pause this video and discuss the following questions. How do those we seek to serve use social media? Think about platforms, access, time spent, and what their goals might be. For those who are hungry spiritually, how do they access scripture or sacred content in their own context? Do they watch videos of spiritual leaders, share memes, or create their own content to share? Fear can prevent teams from engaging with their Muslim neighbors about spiritual topics because the government or people of violence may be monitoring social media activities. Discuss as a team what would and would not be acceptable to post on social media that provides people with spiritual truth. Can you use biblical quotes or point to content from their own sacred texts that lead them to Jesus, or at least get them to think? Are there ideas you would want to avoid in order to limit argument, or would a lively discussion be okay with you and your team? End your discussion time after talking about these questions.